We can now go across to Catherine Norris Street, standing by in Tel Aviv. Catherine, Israel says its two goals in this conflict with Iran is to take out Tehran's nuclear and missile capabilities. But since last week, we've been hearing about regime change, and then overnight we had the US president who put out a post on Truth Social. So has that now become a part of the objectives here?
It's interesting, isn't it, when you look at the stated objectives at the beginning of Israel's military offensive, which it launched against Iranian sites on the 13th of June, and then you look at what is being said and done now, there does seem to have been a certain extent of mission creep. Some people pointing out to the fact that today we heard that Israeli forces bombed the gates of Evin prison, known to be home to political prisoners, and also the headquarters of the Basiji, basically the paramilitary branch of the Revolutionary Guards, who are known to crack down on opposition. So perhaps the aim of those strikes was to try and foment opposition to the Iranian government in place. We've also had statements, notably from the defense minister, Israel Katz, who said that the supreme leader cannot continue to exist. Benjamin Netanyahu himself has refused to rule out assassinating Khamenei, the supreme leader, but he's also said in a press conference last night that he doesn't want to get dragged into a long war of attrition with Iran. So there are some conflicting messages. When you look at the strikes, and when I've been in briefings with military officials from the Israeli army, they say that they also are taking out targets who are hostile to Israel and who pose an existential threat. So that could be a bit of a wider definition. Remains to be seen what form that will take. And of course, Donald Trump posting on social media, why not take this opportunity to, quote, make Iran great again? The White House has walked back on that somewhat, saying that the US remains open to diplomacy, but that's certainly raised a lot of eyebrows about whether the ultimate goal is regime change.
Yeah, because last week we had the US President Donald Trump who said, we know where the supreme leader is, he's safe but for now. So again, keeping that door open. I'm curious, Catherine, how has Iran responded towards Israel following the US strikes over the weekend?
Well, the missile salvos from Iran have continued following the news that broke overnight at the weekend that the US had bombed nuclear targets inside Iran. We saw a pretty fierce firing of missiles from Iran into Israeli airspace, some of which got through. And we saw the massive damage for ourselves in a northern suburb of Tel Aviv. Overnight, there was another missile fired over. It appeared to be just one Israeli missile, according to Israeli military sources, which would be quite unusual. We usually get salvos of a few, between 5 and up to 30 or even 45 on a particularly fierce day. So people are trying to read into the fact that why was only one missile fired? Is this a new strategy? Does it mean anything about military supplies? I think it's too early to say. But we've had alerts in Israel and very dramatic picture of at least one missile getting through this morning in Ashdod, which is to the south of Tel Aviv. It was captured by a dash cam on a driver's car as they were driving through that area, and the explosion goes off just beside the road. So you can see just how big the impacts are and why they're causing damage when they hit in residential areas.